All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Well, it's that time of the year, folks. Baseball is in the air. And of course, we saw the 2025 MLB season, whether you want to call it officially or unofficially, whatever you want to say. Nonetheless, the season got started today over in the country of Japan, where the Chicago Cubs took on the Los Angeles Dodgers. And of course, the Dodgers got off to the 4-1 victory. 161 games left for each of those teams, 162 for everybody else. As the other 28 teams around Major League Baseball are wrapping up spring training, they're getting set to head to their respective cities as the boys of summer are back. But for 29 teams, it's all about trying to overtake the Dodgers. And of course, we saw the Dodgers, win the World Series last year. And first things first, the Dodgers got to go out there and handle their business in the National League West. And this is what I am here to talk about on this podcast, as it's all about the NL West right now, and it's all about trying to overtake the Los Angeles Dodgers, which is easier said than done. Since 2013, only once have the Dodgers not won this division, and that was in 2021. And they actually won 106 games that season. We've seen the Dodgers be a consistent playoff team. They finally broke through last year for their second World Series championship since 2024. And of course, Los Angeles is looking to run it back. And in doing so, they're looking to become the first team since the New York Yankees in 2000 to repeat as World Series champions. And when you think about the Dodgers, it would not be an off season for them without spending money. And that's what they did, is the Dodgers simply continue to dole out the cash. We saw them sign Blake Snell to beef up their starting rotation. You brought in Sasaki from Japan, and you also re-signed Teoscar Hernandez, as simply the rich just get richer. Now, as far as that pitching goes, and I think this is going to be a point of emphasis this year for Los Angeles. They only had 50 quality starts last year. I think that is something that is going to change. Those 50 quality starts were tied for 11th in the National League. And I think if you're Los Angeles, with all of the pitching that you have, whether it's starting rotation, whether it's bullpen, you definitely don't want to go out there and tax that bullpen. Getting Tyler Glass now back for the rotation is definitely going to help Los Angeles as well. Yoshinobu Yamamoto's second year with the Dodgers, as he looks to avoid that dreaded sophomore slump. And then the return of Shohei Ohtani as a pitcher. Of course, we saw the Dodgers go out there and spend big money on Shohei last year, and he definitely delivered at the plate, primarily as a DH as he was recovering from Tommy John. He's going to pitch this year, but I guarantee you that LA is going to be extremely cautious with their $700 million man. Now, we did see the Dodgers lose starting pitcher Walker Buehler to the Boston Red Sox, but nonetheless, this pitching staff is going to be a force to be reckoned with. You look at this Dodgers lineup, and they're going to look to once again put a lot of stress on opposing pitching staffs, and they do it with their patience at the plate, as well as their ability to get hits and get on base, steal bases, and keep that line going. Basically, just pick your poison with this Dodgers lineup. You got Shohei, the reigning NL MVP. He's going to be in the mix to win that award once again. Mookie Betts, a former American League MVP with the Dodgers. Freddie Freeman, the outstanding first baseman. Betts and Freeman are getting up there in age, but they can still go out there and get it done. And let's see what Shohei can do for an encore. Remember, last season, first 50-50 guy, 50 stolen bases and 50 home runs in the same year. I think it was very important for Los Angeles to bring back both of the Hernandezes, not only Teoscar, but also Kike. As Kike, he just, on every championship team, you need that guy who just provides that spark, who provides that little bit extra. And that's what Kike Hernandez brings to the table for Los Angeles. Also, getting a healthy Max Muncy this year, that's going to be big for the Dodgers. And this is a move to me that I feel like enough people are not talking about, but it's going to fly under the radar and it's going to have a big time impact for the Dodgers. We saw them sign outfielder Michael Conforto this year away from the San Francisco Giants. Once upon a time, Conforto was a big prospect for the New York Mets. He was an all-star with the Mets. He had that shoulder injury, and he just was never the same. He started to get it back with the San Francisco Giants. But I think this guy is going to fit in properly with this Los Angeles team, give them depth. And I think Michael Conforto has a big opportunity to have a solid impact this year in LA. We saw Dave Roberts, the manager of the Dodgers, get his extension this year. And I think when it's all said and done, he's going to have this team poised and be on their way to get to have a more than a puncher's chance to go out there and repeat as World Series champions. You look at the San Diego Padres, and the Padres are coming off of a 93 win season that saw them get to the divisional round and push the eventual World Series champion Dodgers to the brink. The Padres have shown that they can hang with Dodgers in recent years. You go back a couple of years, we saw San Diego knock off Los Angeles in the postseason. And whereas the Dodgers will once again be a hurdle for the Padres that they've got to climb over, will they also be able to make the postseason in consecutive years for just a second time in franchise history? You look at this Padres lineup, and I think it has the potential to be very special. First things first, you've got veteran third baseman Manny Machado that continues to get it done with his bat. And believe it or not, this year, Machado can become the first player in Padres history to hit 200 career home runs. Believe it or not. Having Fernando Tatis Jr. healthy is going to be very important for the Padres because that's something that they have not seen in recent years. They picked up Luis Ariz last year from the Miami Marlins, and all this guy does is hit 200 hits or more in each of the last two seasons. And if he can be the table setter with some of those big bats, this could be a big offensive year in San Diego. Trying to get Xander Bogaerts back on track, and San Diego definitely needs him to start hitting that level of productivity that we saw from him when he was with the Boston Red Sox. Now, pitcher Dylan Cease is with the Padres, but for how long is he's going to be a free agent at the season's end? And there have been teams that have been inquiring about him. But Michael King in that rotation was a pleasant surprise last year for San Diego. Of course, he was part of that Juan Soto deal with the Yankees a while back. And what's he going to be able to do this year? That's going to be key. Robert Suarez, he was lights out for San Diego in the ninth, 36 saves last season. Will he be able to do it again? You look at Mike Schilt's Padres, and I think this team is definitely going to be in the mix to get to the postseason. Speaking of the postseason, we saw Arizona win 89 games last year. In most years, that's good enough to be a playoff team, but they lost out to the tiebreaker to both the Atlanta Braves and the New York Mets as they were looking to get back and possibly defend their National League championship in the postseason. Didn't work out. But let's see how things are this time around for the D backs. Ketel Marte is been playing like an MVP. He finished third in the balloting last year. Will he have another big season? Corbin Carroll, we saw him win the Rookie of the Year in 2023 when Arizona got to the World Series. Um, his batting average really dipped last year. That's something that has to improve for Arizona this time around. Losing Christian Walker in free agency to the Houston Astros is going to be big for the Diamondbacks. They are hopeful that Josh Naylor can fill that void as they acquire the first baseman from the Cleveland Guardians over the offseason. You still got Eugenio Suarez at third base and outfielder Lourdes Gurriel. So I'm looking at this Diamondbacks lineup, and it's going to be potent. Now, as far as Arizona's pitching goes, we saw them spend big money last winter on Jordan Montgomery, and of course, it did not work out. Arizona needs him to be the guy that he was in the postseason for Texas when they won the World Series in 2023. And speaking of big money, this time around, Arizona spent the big money on starting pitcher Corbin Burns. He was like really one of the prize free agents out there. Um, Spent the bulk of his career with the Milwaukee Brewers, won a couple of Cy Youngs there, went to the Baltimore Orioles last year, was helpful for them as they got to the postseason. And now he's going to look to do it again, this time in Arizona. That pushes the likes of Brendan Pfaadt and Zach Gallen down in the rotation. But nonetheless, this is still going to be a solid rotation in the desert for the Diamondbacks. Eduardo Rodriguez, that veteran lefty, he could be a sleeper this season for the D-backs as well. Tori Lovolo has a solid team, and I think if Arizona can get off to a solid start this season, I think they can definitely be in the mix for a postseason spot as well. You look at the San Francisco Giants, and during this that 5-year stretch during the decade of the 2010s, where they won 3 championships, catcher Buster Posey was a big part of that success, and now he has returned to San Francisco to be the Giants' president of baseball operations, as he is hopeful to once again have big time success in the Bay Area. And of course, San Francisco has missed out in recent years on getting the big name free agents out there. Most notably, a couple of years ago, we saw them go out there and really make a push to get Aaron Judge to leave the Yankees to come to the Giants. And of course, it did not work out. This time around, Posey was able to get a big name free agent to come to Frisco in the form of shortstop Willie Adames. And of course, Willie Adames put up some big numbers in recent years with the Milwaukee Brewers. And because of that, the Giants signed him to a 7-year deal for $182 million. And it's one of those where last season alone, Adames belted 32 home runs and drove in 112 runs in helping Milwaukee win the National League Central. And now he's expected to be the centerpiece of the Giants lineup. And you're talking about you've got him, and you also have third baseman Matt Chapman, who was signed to an extension last year. And that's going to be important because that's really not a hitter's park in San Francisco. And if you can go out there and find a way to not only manufacture runs, because that's what basically what the Giants have had to do since they've been in that park. It's been about 25 years now. But nonetheless, if you can get some guys that can go out there and knock the ball over the fence consistently, that is going to be important. The Giants are going to pitch. They have always had good pitching in that park out there in Frisco. And it's one of those you look at veteran Logan Webb. You're hopeful if you're San Francisco to have a healthy Robbie Ray this season, and you need Robbie Ray to look like the Robbie Ray who won the AL Cy Young with the Toronto Blue Jays back in 2021. Bringing in a veteran like Justin Verlander is big, and here's why. Justin Verlander is not going to be the guy that he was when he was winning those Cy Youngs for the Tigers, and of course, and helping the Astros when he went there. But this is a veteran who knows how to pitch, who knows what it takes to be ready every fifth day. And I think it's going to be one of those where he's going to be a pitcher, but he's also going to be a coach on the field for this rotation. And I think that's big. You look at Camilo Doval. Of course, he was lights out for the Giants in 2023. They need him to be like that once again. Why? Because his ERA jumped by nearly 2 runs last season. That's not going to get it done. You've got Taylor Rogers right in front of him, who's been solid. And I think for manager Bob Melvin, this San Francisco Giants team could be a sleeper as far as getting to the postseason. They only won 80 and 82 last year. And if you're the Giants, you got to tell yourself, if we can get to maybe 88 or 89 wins, we've got ourselves a shot to get to the playoffs. And then finally, there's the Colorado Rockies. And of course, unfortunately for the Rockies, they have had some futility in recent years. When I say recent years, most notably the last 2 years where they've had consecutive 100 loss seasons. They finished in last place in the National League West in each of the last 3 years, and they have not had themselves a winning record since 2018. Heel, what is going on, my man? Good evening to you as well. Just talking a little baseball right now. Hang on, because I got something for you. So you're looking at these Rockies right now. And you got veteran manager Bud Black, who's been there for so long right now, and he's got to try to find a way to get things turned around in Denver, but it ain't going to be easy. You've had the improved play of shortstop Ezekiel Tovar. The same could be said for outfielder Brendan Doyle, but even with all of that said, Colorado's offense, when you think about this Rockies organization historically, it's been their offense that has gotten them there. They were 11th in the National League in runs scored last year and 12th in both batting average and on base percentage. That's unheard of in Denver, but this is where this organization has been for quite some time now. Also, the Chris Bryant signing has really hindered this organization as they expected him to be the MVP that he was when he helped the Cubs win a World Series. That has not been the case. He's only played 159 games for the Rockies since joining them in 2022. So that's 3 seasons. Okay, this team ERA, the Rockies, team ERA of 5.47 last year. That ain't going to get it done. Okay, it was by far the worst in the National League. And if that doesn't improve, guess what? It's going to be another long summer in Denver. Maybe there's some hope for the future for the Rockies, but it ain't going to happen now. And as bad as the Rockies are, it doesn't help that the teams in front of them in the National League West are so good. I mean, I think the Dodgers can actually be better than they were last year when they won the World Series. And I think their pitching, both starting rotation and bullpen, are going to be a big time factor. San Diego will definitely be in the mix for a postseason spot. I think the Giants could be a sleeper, and I think the Arizona Diamondbacks, especially with the addition of Corbin Burns, you got to look out for them. I'm going to go with the Dodgers to win this division once again, but I definitely think that the Diamondbacks, Padres, and Giants all have the potential to be wild card teams this year. But nonetheless, it's going to be tough sledding for the Colorado Rockies. And again, everybody is in chase mode for the Dodgers or trying to catch the Dodgers, but it is indeed easier said than done. But folks, that's going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank all of you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. Now, if you like what you heard and saw in this podcast, please feel free to hit that like button as well as subscribing to this channel. Heel, like I said, I've got something for you, my man. I was talking a little NBA. It's going to be up tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, rather. I'm not sure what time that's going to be in your region of the world, but definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. And if you subscribe and get the alerts, you'll definitely check that out. So a little something about the Philadelphia Sixers and one Paul George if you're interested. Also, folks, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. Also, there's a sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365, and you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. Also, keep on checking out this channel as there's plenty to talk about right now. I'm giving you a division by division breakdown of the upcoming MLB season, as well as there's plenty to talk about right now, as well as NFL free agency and, of course, March Madness and this NCAA tournament. Hill, you're saying looking forward to it because PG is my guy. Guarantee you definitely want to hear what I got to say, my man. That's fine. I'm going to leave it there. But nonetheless, fine, folks, my name is William Martin. I'm signing off, and I'm saying thanks once again for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. Be well, everybody.